Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 7 Days of Summer Lost Alpha. In the last episode, we miraculously won the tournament despite all of the sabotaging my phone did by crashing the game. And out of absolutely nowhere, Semyon became a complete and utter chud that thinks nothing ever happens and the West has fallen, billions must die. So, what does this mean? It all culminated in us leaving Slavia, fucking wherever she was, and going to contemplate about how terrible our life is, despite the fact that it is decidedly not so. And now Slavia has found us. I am praying to Shiva Gautama Christ Chan to please let her see the light in our eyes and glorify us and lead us to revolution, like the late Chairman Mao once did. We must be led to liberation. He must be led to liberation. There you are. I stopped and raised my head. She caught up with me with a quick step almost without disturbing the environment. Fitting in perfectly. Forest Maiden. Yes, I love that song. Please. Thank you. Fitting in perfectly, like being part of it all. No wonder I haven't been able to notice her until now. Why did you leave? I'm wondering that too. I kept calling you. The girl stood next to me, breathing easily. Sorry. I guess I've been thinking. Well, stop that. Stop thinking. You think too much. Sometimes you think too little, and sometimes you think too much, but you're never thinking the right amount. Retreated into myself and all that. That's it. The duty of courtesy is done. You can leave. When he turned around like that, I went. It felt like something cut me. This man has no self-respect, neither for himself nor for the people that care about him. I thought you couldn't let go like that. I'm a fool, yes? Don't you have important business? Will you shut up? I kept silent. Good. Just listen to her for once. Still, her company really warned me. Even if it was reflected light, such sense cannot be but shine. Slavia, don't have anything better to do? No, she does not, and neither do you. She looked at me in surprise. What are you talking about? You asked me for help. I helped you. That's it. Thanks. I'm out of here. Why do you pretend to care? How can you run around the camp all day helping everyone with a smile like it's no big deal? You expect me to believe that? I didn't know I was saying it, but it's as if 2 days poured over the boiler and burst, releasing all the filth, giving my tortured flesh a temporary but cleansing release. You find the just most absolutely inadequate ways and improper ways to express your anger for people. You see what I mean? Semyon is a fundamentally terrible person at his core. Making him good means putting a lot of effort that I don't know if I'm able to input. Maybe her, but not me. Constant criticism is not going to help him, which is why I'm not in this game. If I was in this game, I would have already strangled him half to death. But you require something else. You require a fundamental change in your life. It's motivational time, I know. Put me in a podium. But you require a certain change that can only come from a person of true altruism, even if the person being addressed does not recognize that altruism. As long as it is there, as long as it is in your heart and soul, that is the only path towards psychological liberation. Semyon, what are you talking about? She furrowed. I just wanted to feed the hedgehogs a little. I thought you would come with me and you ran away. I understand that you feel obligated that I covered you with the keys, but it's just a return courtesy for yesterday's food. We're even, and you don't have to force yourself to waste time on me anymore. I don't know which nerve I hit, but it definitely hurt. Her eyes sparkled and her voice even trembled a little. Will you just... I'm fine. Everything is fine. I don't know what's more disgusting, the fact that you tell me these things or that you sincerely believe in them yourself. I'll tell you, Slavia, it's the latter. It is the latter one. No, actually, I don't know. You know what? She's right. I don't know which is worse. Believing that or saying it. But this is a normal communication pattern. You are not a communist, Semyon. You are not a communist. You are a filthy neoliberal that only thinks in the private individual and never the collective. You need to stop that. Everyone uses each other one way or another, but this is the Soviet Union. Remember what I said when I said this is 1989 and the Soviet Union is already basically fucked? What I mean is the Union is fucked politically. But spiritually, the revolution continued to live in the lives of people for years upon years after the fact. There are still people that believe in that. You know why? Because that revolution, 1917, marked a change so drastic for the people of the Soviet Union that not even the return to neoliberalism, not even the crushing defeat of capitalism, not even Khrushchev or Brezhnev's reforms, not Gorbachev's reforms, nothing could stop the train from rushing towards total liberation. But we see a new generation rise in Russia and in all the post-Soviet countries, a generation that doesn't care anymore, a generation that, because they have not been raised with such optimism, with such forward-thinking ideals, they give up. They are defeatist. And that is not their fault. They are the product of their environment. But it is definitely a shame. I understood that such things should not be said when such a beauty is nearby and such a night is around. There's nothing bad in it. I just don't want you to force yourself, that's all. Semyon, you're too good to be true. Something that should definitely be recognized. Semyon has to internalize the very simple fact, the very easy to understand fact. And maybe he's too stupid for this. Maybe I give him too much credit. Maybe he doesn't know any better. He should, but he doesn't. But he has to internalize the fact that this Slavia, this girl, if she doesn't love him, she definitely cares about him. She definitely cares about him. She has expressed that over and over again. And he takes that as opportunism. Completely irrational mindset, but unfortunately that is indeed how some people think. And I like you too much. And where exactly does that play into what you're doing right now? The deed was done organically, like everything happens around Slavia. And she stared into my eyes, a long searching look. And you better look back in those eyes and contemplate. Think about what you've done, Semyon. Go to timeout corner. Go to the timeout corner. But not even a minute passed before she turned away. Who would have guessed? I smiled bitterly. See? Her voice was soft, gentle, like I've never heard before. You should have just said it out loud from the start, and there would be no dirt on the soul. She never looked in my direction, instead smiling dreamily and fiddling with her braid. She's doing something! Why are you being like this? The most important thing is to be honest with yourself. There's a point to be made that that's true. When you understand what's really in your heart, you don't push people away. Just like now. I no longer feel bad from you. You're not smiling yet, but that'll happen. Probably. Slavia finally raised her eyes to me. No, not probably. Stupid Semyon. She took one step towards me. I'm telling you, you will be smiling. That is the truth of Soviet optimism. That is the great truth of Soviet optimism, and it is a reason why I liked her so much, both in the first game and in this game. She understands, like no one else quite does. And I think this is embodied a lot better in this game than in the first game. Definitely can see where this is coming from. Another one. Just stop doubting. Stop lying to yourself. And finally, she took my hand. Short cut nails scratched my palm, casually drawing on it either a circle or some kind of apple. I shuddered. You do realize that you're asking for too much. I'm not asking for everything at once, retorted Slavia. I'm asking you to try. I'm asking you to try, and I'm controlling you. I am the player character in this scenario. You have not listened to me, Semyon. Pouting like a mouse on grits is the easiest way, and I like your smile. And I suddenly realized that I've been smiling like a dumbass for a few minutes now. Yeah. And when you're calm. She hugged me. Stay like that, she whispered. I stood like a pillar, red, embarrassed, so she had to take my hands and hug herself with them. For some reason, she shuddered when my hands fell on her shoulders. I'm not asking you to believe me, but don't harden up. I am asking you to believe me, okay? She's moderate, I'm extreme. But not important right now. The path on the way to communism, we have to run through socialism. This is very important. She stroked my cheek and, easily freeing herself, took a step back. We came to the gate. He better learn something. By the time this scene ends, he better have learned something. He better have learned something. Or else I swear to all of the gods above and below, this gameplay is over. I mean it this time. Not like the time I said it with Olga Dmitrievna. I mean it. The gameplay is over. And from there, we reached the houses. That was a nice evening. Yes, you managed to make it so. Yeah, she managed to make it so. You at least recognize how much effort she puts in. Maybe you don't realize where that effort is going, but at least you recognize that effort is being... There is effort running through the system. Whether you recognize where that effort goes, I don't know. Probably not. But at least you recognize she's doing a lot. You're doing a nothing. Thank you. Why are you thanking me? You've got to stop. You've got to stop. Try guessing. I'll think about it tomorrow. Why don't you think about it tonight? Why don't you think about it right now? I muttered. Then, see you tomorrow? The girl waved her hand to me and ran away. And I froze, looking at the sky above my head, trying to calm my heartbeat in complete discord in my thoughts. This girl seemed to have demolished all my protection levels, and for the first time in my life, I was in no hurry to restore them. That's very good, Semyon. That's very good. Now I want you to learn. I want you to strive, and I want you to understand everything that just said, everything that just happened to you, and really get your mind gears turning. All right? Tabulate on that. Ruminate. Think for once. For the first time in my life, I suddenly wanted to blindly, stupidly trust. And thank God you do. Because if it wasn't for that, there would be no Soviet Union. And there is none. Because of you. Not because of you. Because of your mindset. Because of what your mindset leads. God. When I started this gameplay, I told myself I would not make it as obviously propagandistic as it might seem, and then I realized it's a game set in the Soviet Union. I have to, if I'm gonna have any input in the game's like runnings, then I'm going to have to recognize that some part of it is going to be me talking about the Soviet Union, its evolution, and what it leads to, what the societal and cultural aspects of it reflect on this game. Knowing full well that nothing good will come of it. You don't know anything. You don't know the least bit, Semyon Personov. But be that as it may, I was, for the first time in a long while, inexplicably happy. And if that happiness comes from somewhere, why reject it? Why turn it away? If happiness is at your doorstep, you do not close the door in its face. It was already well after midnight when I finally reached the house that sheltered me. Trying to move as quietly as possible so as not to... There was nobody inside. Strange. Well, our squad leaders are also people and also want to relax? Don't know. In any case, there was no strength or desire to reflect on distant topics. I hastily shook off the sand on the porch and, undressing, dived under the covers. Cozy. Nice. Thoughts wandered lazily somewhere outside my cranium. Answers? There were no answers. And did I look for them? Of course not. I showed myself to the camp, looked at the camp itself, enjoyed the sun and carelessness characteristic of only such places, remote from the ever-rushing civilization. It's fair to say that I did things here that I never did in my old life, and you should be very happy and proud of that. I lived. There were things that surprised me too. Some kind of completely inexplicable mischief of mine as if pestered by an indefatigable, there's that word again, bright red leech. The card tournament that taught me that sometimes winning isn't all there is to life. Slavia. This girl never ceases to amaze me. Never cease to be amazed. That quote has stuck with me for the longest part of my life. Should I tell you why? Should I genuinely say why? I'm not going to say why explicitly, but I'm going to tell you to read The Miraculous Journey of Edgar Tulane. It's a children's book. It's a very good children's book. I highly recommend it. You should read it. It's a very good book. It has nothing to do with any of this, but it's a good book. And that is a quote that sticks with me. He never ceased to be amazed. It's a whole thing. I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm saying stupid bullshit that has nothing to do. I'd just move forward. Would I catch up with a person who turns his back on me like this? Not really. And what does that teach you? What does that tell you? But she did. Because she's glorious. I'm not sure if that's how you should be looking at it, but any amount is any value above 0 is better than 0. In a way. I smiled at the way it sounded. But as the heroine of Gone with the Wind says, I'll think about it tomorrow. Slavia, I'm so tired. I lay down comfortably, put my hand behind my head, and closed my eyes. Almost falling asleep, I heard the door open, and Olga Dmitrievna touched me on the shoulder. Well, how did you like your first day in the camp? Made any memories? More than I expected. That's good. Less than I wanted. That's bad. I barely moved my lips, but she still heard and smiled. Right. You should sleep. Tomorrow will be a new day. And thank God it will. I fully agreed with her. And a second later, I was fast asleep. Day 3, morning. And you know what? I think that's where I'm going to end the gameplay. It might be a little bit of a short episode, this one. But I do have to record 2 episodes in one day. And that's got to happen somehow. No, you know what? We'll keep going. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. Day 3. Today I dreamed of something strange. Dark room, 4 bulb chandelier under the ceiling, but considering the plafonds that were overgrown with dust, this light source is used quite rarely. Prefer others. For example, that very same flat 24-inch with night light in order to not disturb sore eyes even more. And there's someone sitting next to it, someone familiar, shaggy, bushy, gloomy. Fingers lay on WASD by themselves, despite the video game's not too much honorable here, just to kill some time. Computer on the left, armies, even mountains of empty bottles. They misspelled bottles. Pizza and sushi boxes. Last is mostly here just to impress a mere guest. Is this really me? This bleak, wretched being hunched over the monitor with chin resting in the left hand. This is me? You are learning, Semyon. You are growing as a person, and I'm very happy about that. But you're doing it in a very blitz way. You're doing this really quickly. You should be doing this slowly. You should be realizing things a bit more slowly. But I don't mind. Any realization is good realization. I refuse to believe what I see. No, there were problems in my life, of course. I've seen them. I knew them. I'm not denying that. But never, you hear me, never it was so bad. Maybe you do not think it was that bad because you have moved past it. Because you are now in a new stage of development. And you can only look back on your older, less witting versions as not as enlightened. This is not me. No, not me. I can't. I don't want to be it. So relax, catch breath. I'm in the camp, right? In the camp. With pioneers. And with Olga Dmitrievna. Oh yeah? Don't you tell me then, what cities did you pass to get there? Or are you from the city named City, from the street named Street? And again, I'm asking my inner voice to shut up. My thoughts were interrupted by an impatient knocking at the door. What? Who's there? Those are not my words, but this hairy creature that took my chair. Nobody. Stop playing the fool, Semyon. Someone responded from the other side of the door. I know you hear me. Leave me alone, I didn't do anything. Seemed like he cowered and tried to crawl into the system unit. How's that? You didn't. Voice seemed impatient and even menacing. Then who did? Me? Huh? I didn't do anything! Leave me alone! And kablamo. I don't want to hear anything. You said you find the keys and didn't hand them. Happy? Now you on duty at the canteen. Yup, I remember now. Third day was going to be spent at the canteen. She stated and gave me a towel with all the things I needed wrapped in it. Now go wash yourself. You don't have much time. You still need to go to the canteen. Swimming trunks are in the nightstand if you want to go swimming when you finish your duty. Understanding that arguing with squad leader was pointless, I lazily scraped myself off the floor, dressed up, and got it straight into the fresh morning. Oh, I yelled. Temperature dropped during nighttime. Shreds of fog were hanging between the trees. Combined with not rise sun, we get wet, cold, disgusting feeling, and shorts with cotton t-shirt didn't help that too much. Since I was relieved of morning exercise and lineup, I left my neckerchief at the cabin, deep beneath my pillow, and happy that I quickened to the brass-tiled monster. Pioneers were nowhere to be seen. Seems even omnipresent Slavia is only waking up right now. Bliss. For the last 48 hours, I wasn't able to be alone, and I already started to forget how it feels. Ah! I greeted the morning camp. The water was even colder than yesterday, and I seriously considered leaving one sink full overnight, let it warm up a little. Ah! Another handful of ice flew into my face. Behind someone muttered sleepily. Well, could you please stop yelling? My head was already hurting. Now this. I turned around and found Ulyanka behind me. She stood over the sink with a displeased face and closed eyes. What kind of typhoon got you up so early? Duty, she creaked. There was no sadness. So, we're on duty together. Didn't sleep well? Uh-huh. She was back in her Soviet polo shirt and corduroy shorts. That's because you ate an entire cake. I pointedly raised my finger. Sugar overdose. Screw you. She unscrewed the faucet handle and cautiously touched the water with her fingertips. And suddenly an idea came to my mind. Ulyanka's all such a fidget, nimble and cheerful, but one question could only be answered experimentally. I held my hand under water until I felt the cold turn into pain for 10 whole seconds, and then having crept up the small one from behind, I put my hand behind her scruff. There's also a point to be made that he's a bastard. He's a huge bastard with Ulyana sometimes. Yee! She can. She definitely can. I mean, scream. You! She was trying to catch her breath, looked unkindly, and planned something clearly unkindly. And I didn't even have time to react. She instantly jumped to the tap, unscrewed it at full power, and spreading her thumb and forefinger, pressed the skin between them into the tap, leaving a small gap for the water to exit. A steep water arch stretched in my direction. I barely managed to jump sideways, more sideways, until I thought of hiding on the other side of the wash basins. You are crazy, Ulyana stated. Not only did you not let us get into the dining room starving a child, but now you also wanted to freeze her like a thing. That's not true. Achoo! I peeked out from behind the tile side to object and immediately received a decent portion of ice-cold water right in the face. The petty one burst out laughing. Considering herself avenged, she returned to where she started. Yes, she had absolutely no intention of washing herself with such water. Instead, she again turned the jet down to a minimum and continued to touch it with her fingers. Little one, what are you doing? It's like you can't see it yourself. I'm touching the water. May I know why you're touching it? Stupid man, it's been known for a long time that if the water's too cold or too hot, you just have to let it flow a little. It doesn't work here. In the city, so it works, but not here. Why? Because it's not a city, little one. The water here is taken from the local river, and there it is. You can go touch it, about the same temperature. Somehow I had a strange feeling, as if Ulyanka is mocking me in some incomprehensible way. But in what way? Well, okay, then I won't wash at all, I guess. She turned off the water and rolled everything she had time to lay out in the towel. Okay, don't wash your face. Just do it quickly, please, okay? Above the camp, the low signals of the pioneer horde trumpeting up were heard. Hey, we need to be at the canteen. Crap, don't remind me. It's all because of you. Couldn't believe my ears. Because of me? And why is that, may I ask? Because you snitched on me and Alisa, I know. Wow, what an accusation. Why did they put me on duty then? Because you're a dunk. She cut off. Great, so you got punished because I snitched on you and me for not being a dunk. Well, you finally got it. Okay, I don't hold a grudge against you. A klutz is a klutz. I was about to say something sharp in general to stop the little girl so that she would think a little to whom she was saying what, when she added, and most importantly, all for nothing. We didn't even get our food that night. Screw you. I packed my things and headed for the house. She was shouting something at my back, but I had already left. Pioneer slowly swayed and prepared for a new day. Slavirzilini ran past me, giving me a fleeting smile. The dew-soaked uniform was tight around her in all the right places, I forced myself not to stare after her. One step at a time. One step at a time. We'll get there one step at a time. Slowly but surely, we will make it. Alisa, Lena, and Shurik walked past me in the zombie mode. Seems that it was useless to try to get through them since they did not react to the greeting in any way. Miku, whom I had not seen since yesterday, on the contrary, was already vivid, cheerful, and extremely active. Please don't talk to— ah, shit, okay.
Hello, Semyon! I wanted to say good morning, but you look so sad that I thought it might not be good for you at all, so I chose something neutral.
She spoke in one word. Hi, Miku, how did you sleep?
The best! I found a bug under the blanket that was wiggling its whiskers in a funny way, and I was trying to escape, so I caught it and released it. And Lena squealed so much at the sight of him. She's so strange, isn't she? The beetle maybe wanted warmth.
Or maybe it's not the desires for the beetle, but the pranks of one red-haired youngster. She was saying something else, but I safely ignored everything, again lost in my own thoughts.
I really hope you'll be there, too.
Wait. Sorry, I'm a little lost. What are you talking about? Excuse me, but there is where?
At the ah, shit. Okay, come on. At the disco, be sure to come.
You'd be surprised how heavy this fucking fan is. You would be surprised. She concluded, and with a dazzling smile jumped off towards the wash basins. Or the wash bins, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Disco! Focus, Semyon! You know what the goal is. You just have to look. You just have to focus. Really, truly focus. If you do not focus, by next episode, I'm going to end you, Semyon. And I must say next episode because this is the end of today's episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode of 7 Days of Summer Lost Alpha. Jesus, I'm already on the 3rd page. I've made so many save files.